From your local election headquarters, here's Fred Childers with This Week in Louisiana Politics.
Good Sunday morning to you. I'm Fred Childers. Thanks for watching This Week in Louisiana Politics on your local election headquarters. Hope you're having a great weekend. A major endorsement in the gubernatorial race this week. Senator Bill Cassidy is throwing his support behind Attorney General Jeff Landry in his run for governor. The senator highlighted some of his shared goals with Landry, including becoming the leader in the new energy economy and improving the state's mental health services. This endorsement also comes after the Louisiana GOP has previously censured Cassidy for his vote to impeach former President Donald Trump. Jeff Landry is endorsed by Trump. And we are just a day away from candidates officially qualifying for the governor's race. In a forum, 6 of the 7 candidates talked about how they plan to push for the new bridges needed across the state. Now, the candidates had a wide range of answers, of course. All of them agree a new bridge in Baton Rouge and Lake Charles is necessary. Some candidates spoke about growing the economy. Others didn't have a clear path on how to make the infrastructure plans come to fruition. The primary election day is October 14th. Students in Louisiana are performing better in the classroom. Newly released LEAP scores by the Department of Education show a 2 percentage point increase for the 2022-2023 school year. The test measures achievements in English, math, science, and social studies for grades 3 through 12. While the scores show improvements ahead of the new school year, they do not match pre-pandemic numbers.
In a state that has been educationally challenged in terms of outcomes for too long, we have to maintain urgency. We have to maintain focus because that's what students across the state of Louisiana need and deserve. And we are committed to doing that work.
Areas of concern for students include math and social studies. The state superintendent says they have a plan to address those subjects. The state continues to see a rise in fentanyl-related overdoses, and a new law going into effect looks to crack down on dealers. Capitol reporter Shannon Hecht brings us details of the new penalties.
And the hope is that this sends a chilling effect to those people who are distributing these drugs to our citizens and killing them.
Last year, more than 1,000 Louisianians died from taking drugs laced with fentanyl.
It is being pressed and disguised as different pills, and it's being put in a host of other drugs.
A new law increases jail time to at least 7 years for the first offense, 10 years for the second offense, and life in prison for the third offense. Someone who's caught with over 250 grams or half a pound will get a life sentence.
I don't have any sympathy for anyone who deals fentanyl. If you're dealing fentanyl, you intend to kill people.
Last year, the EBR Narcotics Division seized more than 30 pounds of fentanyl products.
That is enough to potentially kill more than 150,000 people. That's 1.5 times the people that can fit in a packed Tiger Stadium on Saturday night.
This bill cracks down on those intending to deal fentanyl in Louisiana. East Baton Rouge Parish Coroner Bo Clark says that the other half of the battle is getting treatment for people who are addicted.
If you don't take care of their supply, meaning the drug dealer, then you're spinning your wheels with how you manage the addict.
Law enforcement hopes that this major increase in penalties will help curb the flow of fentanyl into Louisiana communities.
Now, libraries across the state are developing new policies on how to keep sexually explicit materials away from kids after a new law went into effect. Shannon Hecht brings us details of how libraries are making the change.
Now that the new law has gone into effect, libraries across the state are developing their policies of what books should be available for teens and children. They're also fine-tuning their policy of how parents can bring up their concerns about specific books.
Larger systems like the East Baton Rouge Parish Libraries already have a tiered card system for kids, tweens, and teens. The library will work to recode online cards so kids will have the same restrictions on digital materials.
A tween card would not be able to just be given access to adult material. And the way that our cardholder policy is currently written, a teenager or a tween is not eligible for an adult library card.
For parents who are okay with their teens having an adult card, EBR is looking for answers on how to implement that. The Louisiana State Library is guiding boards on how to set up their own policies and book challenge process. In EBR, a book that is brought up goes through a rigorous check by librarians on what ages should have access.
If They are not satisfied. The new law also makes it so that the Library Board of Control would review the materials as well.
Libraries have until January to revise their policies and until next June to implement them.
The East Baton Rouge Parish Library says that they have a lot of questions about the specifics of this law that they're hoping the legislature can help answer for them. For your local election headquarters, I'm Shannon Hecht.
Well, if you're a fan of the Lady Tigers basketball team, now you can honor them as you drive around town. Governor John Bel Edwards signed a bill to celebrate the historic championship run with a new license plate. This happened at the PMAC with Coach Mulkey and the coaching staff. She led the women to their first ever national championship after defeating Iowa 102-85.
This is going to sound trite and contrived a bit, but it's true. In Louisiana, when LSU and the Saints are playing well, it's an easier state to govern. People are just happier.
Of course. At the press conference, the governor also talked about the need to invest in higher education. Edwards has made education a high priority after major cuts were made in the Jindal administration. After weeks of debate, East Baton Rouge schools have reached an agreement on a budget. These tense meetings follow a statewide issue of teachers wanting to have raises to get closer to the Southern regional average. Now, EBR plans to invest in a one-time $4,000 stipend for teachers and a $2,000 stipend for support workers. This is on top of the raises approved by the state legislature.
Where we had problems with cleanliness before, those things should now be removed because we added more money into our budget to take care of that. Where you had school safety protocols that needed to be updated and fixed and modified, those things are now going to be, you're going to see changes happen throughout our schools because we have lifted the threshold for spending or budgeting around school safety.
We've come to a great compromise that will allow teachers, school staff, employees of the district to be able to receive an increase that allows it to be even reflective on their teacher retirement, and then also to be able to let them know that we do value our staff and that we want them to stay.
So the budget process for EBR was weeks long and had long debates over investing in teachers. Opelousas is looking for a way to keep workers from leaving. One way is through a raise for city workers. Two suggestions were proposed: raise every municipal worker's hourly pay to either $10 an hour or a 50-cent pay raise. Mayor Pro Tem Charles Cummings says this is a necessity with the increasing price of everything. Alderman Cummings is looking to propose an increase in millage taxes to help bring the money into the city for the workers to get the pay increases they're looking for. Now, the council ensures they are doing everything they can to find the funds they need to give the city's municipal workers the money they need. Coming up this week, we saw another indictment of former President Donald Trump, and 2 years have passed and some Louisiana residents are still recovering from hurricane disasters. Stay with us. We'll be right back.